Hello guys, welcome to our channel Shorindu Family Karate. There were some questions about how we can handle students with fear, students who have undergone bullying, or some of them fear of losing or failure, or even some other students so much afraid to face the reality. So how we handle these children, especially children who have been victims of bullying. And I used to get a lot of students who fit into this category. And many a time I used to wonder, many of the karate instructors are not have not got any training in psychology or education psychology, nor in parental training, or let's say how to handle the children. So how a trainer, a karate instructor can get the knowledge how to handle these children who are having various issues, mainly the issues related to facing the fear or to get rid of the fear. So what I do to the children, how I handle is what I'm going to share. Now the main thing what we need to concentrate is that, let me divide into two parts. First part is understanding the children. Second part is how a trainer should handle them. So let me talk the first part. First step. The main step is we have to understand the child, what background the child is coming from. Okay, if we come to know that it is from the victim of just bullying, or is that student is having a difficulty facing the fear, let me say the fear of losing or failure, fear of failure. Okay, or is it because the student is having a kind of fear of harassment, either maybe in the family itself or maybe in the community, or is it because the students who are really having the fear of facing the reality. So these are the things that we need to consider as instructors, karate or martial art instructors. So first what we need to do is we need to examine the student, or when I say examine means it is not about physical examination. I am talking about just talking to them and understanding what they know about themselves, or how the student, that particular student, is considering himself, meaning how much value they consider to themselves. Why we need to first know, because without knowing that we can never train the child, okay, who is having this kind of issues, problems. So we need to know first how that particular student considers himself, what is his value, what is his worth. So the students will be, most of the time they will be just considering themselves worthless, good for nothing, or who is not. For example, a person who is been bullied, they will be considering that as if they are not fit to that group, or they are not good enough to face this kind of troubles what they are facing, and they don't want to go back again, or face this people who always harass this kind of children. So that is the first thing. So when you talk to them, they'll come to know that either they are not fit, okay, fit physically they are not fit, or they are not mentally strong, or because they think too much about what is going to happen, the unseen future, they think too much. So then if we can come to know the reality of the student, the present reality, how they value, the student value themselves, or how they consider the present situation, then the next step is we need to know what they aim to be. We have to ask them or understand what they really want to become in the future. So that is the first step what we need to get from the students. So first thing is understanding the situation of the student, how they consider the present situation. Okay. Second is how or what these students want to become in the future. Now these two parts are over, then we are on the safe side. The next part belongs to us. okay, for as a trainer. So the second part, the next step is of the trainer's point of view. That is how the trainer understands or evaluate that particular student. When I say the trainer's point of view, the trainer has to test the limit of the student. Limit in terms of physical limitations as well as mental limitations. Okay, how hard this person can endure or the exercises or what all things, what the normal routine of the center. Once the trainer comes to know the normal routine or based on the normal routine, the physical condition of the student, the next process is the next part or the next step is make him understand what is the present situation or physical condition or physical fitness or mental fitness of the patient, the present. Okay, then how much he has to go or how much he has to aim or to what extent he has to aim is the next session, which the instructor has to convince the student. So the convincing is, of course, it's about motivating the student as well as make him realize the importance of getting to that point. Now, how can we do that? That is also, it's a certain steps are there. Since the student, if the student is understanding the explanations or the motivating factors which the instructor is providing, and if the student is able to understand well, definitely the student will be willing to cooperate. Now, in that case, if the student realizes the improvement what he needs to make, definitely he will be aiming for what the instructor is setting the target. Now, for that, the student has to enjoy the training module that you are providing. If the student doesn't enjoy, the people who are the victims of this kind of harassment, they should not also feel that karate center is also becoming another point of harassment or demotivation. Okay, so it has to be a step-by-step process. That's why I said these are it requires a lot of process. Now, if the student is able to understand his physical situation and the instructor's point of view about him and how much he has to work hard to reach to that level, then the work of the trainer is much easier because the student starts enjoying. If he understands what is the requirement as well as his present situation, and if he aims up there, if his aim is up there, then definitely he start enjoying the module. The next step is on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, the instructor needs to have a discussion with the student to provide him the improvement that he has made, as well as both. When I say improvement, not only just physical improvement, I am talking about the mental improvement also, how he's handled the situations. After months of training and evaluation, and when the students, there will be a point when the students realizes that of course he has gained what he has aimed for. Or sometimes even if the instructor tells that yes, you are good now, you can really defend yourself, or you are capable of defending yourself, or you are mentally strong to handle any kind of situation, many a time the student may not be willing to accept that. Okay, now how can that is happening because the students are not getting the enough confidence. Now how can we give the confidence is by pairing with people whom he considers. When I say pairing, means pairing for combat or fighting. When I say fighting, or in terms of exercises also, testing the limits, for example push-ups, abdomen, all those exercises, or climbing a rope or something like that, or all those things you can pair with somebody whom these students, when they joined, these students would have considered some of the students in their dojo to be the better ones. So pair with those kind of better students whom they consider to be better and try to test their limit, and they'll come to know that many a time they may fail, but there may be a time also they are winning. So it is a deeper understanding, or let's say the students get motivated, or they say they'll start getting, or they start trusting their ability. They start believing in themselves. So the main point is of training is the trainer has to make the person, make him or make the student believe in themselves, in their ability. So once their ability goes at par with their aim, what they have aimed for, they start believing in themselves. And that belief or confidence what they get from there is what is going to remove all fear from their mind. So they will be ready to face any kind of problems. Now, another issue is that some of the students, they have the fear of losing all the time. Even I have students who have never gone for, even black belts, never gone for competitions or kind of fighting. They don't want to pair somebody or fight anybody whom they have not known before. So they are so scared. Now, you should always think that nobody can always win. Okay, winning is not always the criteria. It's not winning, but it should be learning. Every fight or every experience should be a learning. Okay, it should be a learning aspect. When I say that, whether you attend a class or a session, or whether it be a simple fight or a kind of committed training, it should be an experience, learning experience. And the same way, failure also should become an experience for a person. If a student considers himself like he has to win all the time and he is a champion, he cannot lose. So those people who are afraid of losing, we need to make them understand by pairing with people who are really good, let's say who are better than themselves, those students, and ask them to fight or ask to compete with them, and definitely they will start experiencing failures. And in failures they start learning something. What they learn? They start learning something like let's say understanding how they fail, or what was a problem, why it so happened to fail, isn't it? They start understanding, is it because their techniques, or is it because of their physical is still not capable enough, or stamina problem? So they'll come to know. So, or is it because they are not able to withstand mind, or let's say mental strength? Is it because of that, or because any other factors? So when the students comes to know the different aspects of a fighting and the failure, the main problems of the failure, what will happen then? He will start correcting his problems. He will start treating his own limitations. Then once the corrective measures taken into place, then he will be able to aim for high. So a failure is not always the end. You have to learn to fail. We have to learn to fail. We have to accept our failures. Only when we are able to accept our failures, then only we will be able to look into our failures and try to find out why it happened. And then we will be able to do the corrective measures in order to not to fail, isn't it? Then we will be aiming for again higher. So that is the last part. Now in that case, every student who goes to this process definitely will be getting rid of the fear. So guys, as you know, even the fear has a negative, the fear can lead us into a negative side. Okay, negative side means usually we will develop a fact called escaping kind of personality. What all difficulty comes in our life, we try to escape. What all the troubles comes in our life, we try to escape. We are scared to face it. So escapism is one thing that I have spoken of earlier. Then next thing is that another very serious issue is that if a person who has more fear, a student who has who is having so much fear, they'll end up in getting more angry, because they always want to protect themselves or defend themselves. So they will be always aggressive, or anger issues will be there for them. Now if you are a good trainer, then you should know how to handle the anger. That is what we call karate is always say respect. So when by teaching respect or respecting the partners and controlling their emotions and all that in the training, definitely these anger issues will be solved. Okay, and I'll be coming up with another video about the anger issues of students. Okay, then my only request even to the parents is that who watches this video is that you should send at least your children for any of the martial arts centers. We always ask, why martial art? Why martial art? Is it needed for my child? It is not just the martial arts centers is not just teaching you kicks and punches and all that. It is teaching also personality development. It is developing personality. Okay, so we always will be advising our children our various ways, like we try to motivate. Some of the parents are good motivators, but may not be the children may not take it as as the way that you think how you will be talking, isn't it? They will not be taking the best. So for this kind of students, or for anybody, any students, children, martial arts centers becomes the vital. Martial arts centers play a vital role in their life. Why? Because boosting, or let's say good talk, or let's say advices will work only to an extent, because many a time the children believes in action more than advices. So when but in martial arts centers you can see everything is action more than advising or boosting their morale by talks and all that. What is happening in martial arts centers is physically since it is more physically oriented, everything is physically oriented, the student starts learning his ability, as well as he will be able to connect to the talks that we are giving, the advices that we are giving, to the actions what he is doing in the karate center or training centers. They will be able to see the differences what he is making in terms of his mental fitness and health, as well as physical fitness. And that is the real, let me say, he will be able to believe in what the students will be able to believe in the his own abilities and all that, starts believing, and they will be able to aim for heights. So why martial art? Because martial art will make the students believe in what they experience, what they see around them. A student who is very weak, for example, it may be his friend or best friend or somebody who he has known for long, and he is coming to that extent of becoming so fit. So he sees around him and he starts believing. So all the advices what we give is going to work in a very positive way. So guys, the aim of every martial art trainer or any martial art centers, the aim is to create better fighters. The fighters means, does it mean that to fight outside? No, fighters within themselves, because the enemy is not outside, the enemy is within themselves. To conquer their fears and to face any challenges in their future is the real fight which they have to learn how to do, how to get. So any training center, any martial art trainer also is training the students to become a good fighter. And let me tell you guys, many a time, many of the students, because of the overconfidence, when they feel that they are macho and they are good size and they can fight with anybody, to test what they do, they start fighting even outside. That's a wrong concept. If the trainers are not able to control them, not able to direct them properly, then these kind of students always end up in jail, because they don't know what is the result of that, what is the outcome of that. They are with their age, they are always like because of their what we call unlimited or uncontrolled behavior, what they do, they just end up in all sorts of fighting, all kinds of gangs and all that. So the trainer, martial art trainer, should be always there to guide these children. And fighting is not a solution. Fighting is not a solution at all. Fighting is a starting of a bigger problem, is a bigger problem. When it's a bigger problem, children who are so much immature, they tend to test their ability, their fitness on others, and they end up always in trouble. Even if a person who is prone to fight, it may be for self-defense. Even if it is self-defense, when the police questions, and if the student is not able to prove to the police that he has fought for self-defense, then the student ends up in jail, isn't it? So even if martial arts centers are training for people to become fighters, fighting is not a solution. Fighting outside, you end up in jail all the time. Okay, now then what is the use of this fighting training or martial arts centers? The martial arts centers teaches you to be a fighter, because the fighter means fight within, because the enemy is within us. It is not outside, guys. So when I say fight within, the enemy within us is to create a better personality. We should know how to control our emotions. We should know how to direct our life properly with the people around us. And that is the aim of any martial arts center. And as a martial art trainer, that is also my duty, to create better citizens of the country. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Thank you so much. See you.